Welcome back to Momentous Building Enterprises, where we're going to give you a little update of where we're at in the current process, but also help explain the startup procedures of starting your own contracting company and going through the ranks to get a home improvement license in Westchester County, New York. It's been a process, but we're getting there. Westchester County has a very in-depth vetting process for home improvement contractors here in New York. Now, this is both a good and bad thing. For me, right now, it seems like a terrible thing because I have to supply 9 different line items in order to get the criteria necessary to apply for a home improvement license. But in reality, it's really a good thing. Now, this vetting process helps protect consumers from contractors that are unqualified, trying to shortchange the customer and do a less than stellar job. Now, this can mean that they don't have the proper insurances in place that protect the homeowner, or it's that they're not actually qualified to be doing the work. In either case, it's a benefit to society and protection of the consumer. So I want to backtrack a little bit and talk about actually starting up your construction company. Now, the first step is opening up the corporation or the entity that you're going to be operating under. Now, this might be an S corp, an LLC, a sole proprietorship, or partnership, and the list goes on. Could even be a C corp, depending on how you want to take the company. For me personally, it was an S corp. Now, this involved for me going on to an online source such as LegalZoom, spending a few $100s, getting my corporation documents done properly under a New York State incorporation. From there, that was a 7 to 14 day period because I spent a little bit more to expedite it. But you can also get it as soon as days if you want to spend enough money. In my case, back in February when I opened up my company, just in case, I had no reason to rush. After that, it is very, very important. The longest lead item is going to be your insurances. This is one of the first things I jumped on after I realized that, hey, listen, I want to pursue this route of opening up my own general contracting company and really running it. Now, the insurance process for me is taking around 40 days because I had to backtrack and go through some different hoops. I used some existing vendors that I did know and providers. However, being a new contractor, it's this catch-22 where insurance companies don't want to insure you because you've never been insured before. So that leads me to having to pay extra for a company that is going to take on the higher risk that I don't have a history. Sort of like when you get your first credit card, you have to pay higher interest rates if you leave money in the statement. Just like me, I have to pay higher rates to actually obtain my insurances. Now, right now, where I'm at currently, I'm around the $10,000 to $15,000 mark for my yearly insurances. However, those insurances are contingent upon how much business I do in payroll. So at the end of the year, I might get audited and owe another $10,000 to $15,000, which I actually expect, hopefully, if business goes well. But that's a very small number. In actuality, a lot of companies are paying six figures just for insurance alone, which creates a hefty overhead. Now, going from there, another key important item that you need to do is open up bank accounts. Now, this is a couple-day process between booking an appointment with your local bank and then actually going to the bank and doing it, which takes a couple hours. You're going to need your corporation documents first, as most banks are going to need your EIN number and a series of other documents just to ensure that you're the company owner and that the entity is real. I personally always like banking with a small bank, a local bank. I enjoy the customer service I can get out of there. Other people have said that, they're more open to financing options for smaller companies, whereas the Chase and the Wells Fargos are so big they don't need to open their doors for smaller companies such as myself. It's been a great process and a great customer service working with a small business bank so far, a bank that maybe only has 10 to 15 branches spread out over 1 or 2 states. Opening your entity, opening bank accounts, and going down the process of obtaining insurances. Now, general liability, workers' comp, disability, paid family leave, all three of those need to be in place, are just some of the steps that need to happen in order to obtain a functional general contracting company here in Westchester County. Now, this is actually, those steps are anywhere in the country. There's many back end steps with that, such as marketing, getting your website going, social media, getting outreach, figuring out your marketing strategy, your accounting, your bookkeeping. All these need to be in place while you start to scale your business and get going. And the farther you put that off, the more in trouble you're going to be in, because the last thing you want to do is get around the tax season and not be able to file taxes because there's no bookkeeping in your business and you didn't even look up an accountant. So now you're spending hours and hours and hours and burning daylight just to get just to pay taxes. That's a terrible spot to be in when you should be out in the field making some money. Now, Westchester County has, like I said, 9 different criteria right here, a full page listed, um, along with those items that I talked about, which I'll run through right here. And that is a completed application, notarized, either a check for $500, and that's at current times here in 2021, October, or you can do a credit card authorization form, which allows for an expedited process. Now that is something that I'm going to take advantage of because I need to shave off as many days as possible, as I'm looking around mid-November to actually obtain my home improvement license at this rate. Proof of business name, such as in the form of a filing receipt from New York State or a certificate of incorporation, which you will receive from when you create your entity. Those documents are extremely important in providing for the various sources going forward in company startup and also down the road. Then you will need, if you are a sole proprietorship or a partnership, you're going to be needing a notarized child support form, just basically saying, are you providing child support and information like that so they can vet you properly. Your liability insurance certificate made out to Westchester County, and the details are all going to be in the paperwork. Your workers' comp, and also your disability. Going down the list, you're going to need a valid photo ID, front and back in color, and then you're also going to need proof of residency, either a lease agreement of where you live, a mortgage, a utility bill. There's specifically laid out in there what's accepted and what's not. Your Netflix bill, where the billing receipt of your address is going to work here. It's got to be part of their criteria. And then you have to have at least one vehicle registered into the company. Now, this is something that I'm battling right now, trying to obtain a commercial loan to put into the company when the company doesn't make any money. So I'm actually having to go down the route of getting an SBA loan, paying 6.5% when I should be when my bank quoted me at 3.15 in today's great interest rates. But it's something that is a $25 a month hit that I had to take, but also in the long run will provide me history with my bank and also relationships. So that is extremely important in the long run. So that $25 is more of an investment into future relationships with my bank rather than just an interest payment. And then lastly, if you're doing environmental conservation pesticide business, you're going to need to fill out a separate form for that as well. So with those 9 things, you got all your insurances in place. You got these different line items. You're gonna have this big stack of paper. You got to send out to Westchester County, and then it's a 14 to 60 day process depending on how busy they are, if you choose to expedite or not. And it's kind of where we're at. And as an update of where we are at as a company right now, we are in the process of obtaining all of our certificates of insurance by tomorrow end of the day. I'm closing on my company vehicle Monday, November 1st. And then after that, by the end of the week, I'll be able to have my vehicle registered. I will have all the documents in place, and I'll be able to submit my actual application for my home improvement license, which I will probably overnight it down to Westchester, even though it's 20 minutes down the road. Shave off as many days as possible. But for me personally, this is going to be about a 60 to 75 day process from company startup to actually obtaining my home improvement license, which is a lengthy part of time when we're trying to create a business to make a living. But like I said, the last thing any homeowner deserves is to have a less than adequate home improvement contractor coming in there, creating damages, not doing work properly, leaving unsafe conditions that aren't adhering to building codes. So with that, we'll catch you in a few days with another update of when we're closing on the vehicle, maybe some more information, and go from there. Thank you very much.